What is going on, guys? I hope you guys are well. This week we're gonna talk about Ironman training and helping you understand everything to get the best possible result. So first of all, let's get it right out of the way. I know you think I'm extremely good looking today. But it's not my hair, it is actually the t-shirt I'm wearing. So you might have to check out the brand I'm gonna be partnering up with this year, which is Trimtex. Obviously, you can check it out there in the description. Check out the gear they have, especially the triathlon suit is something I want to show you guys. It's something I'm super excited about racing, and in actually 7 weeks time it's kickoff time at the championship in Charlotte Submarine. But let's get into the topic of today. So today's topic, we're going to talk about Ironman training, and not just Ironman training. You can relate that even to the weekend heroes that are into running or cycling. Swimming is a bit different. But most aerobic sports, so the ones that are like longer distances, it's not necessarily relevant for like the 400 meter guys or the 800 meter guys. That's a whole different type of training. But for this type of training, so first we have to divide it up a little bit and understanding to get it for everybody going. Aerobic training and anaerobic training, right? When it comes to Ironman distance, so actually when you go even further, it's actually from short distance racing, 1 hour to 2 hours, which is sprint triathlons and Olympic triathlons, Olympic with a 10K, the one that's also in the Olympics itself, and up to 70.3, which is the half Ironman, and the full Ironman distance. Of course, they vary in training, but the funny part is, if you look at now the best at the moment, the Norwegians, which are the current Olympic champion, Christian Blumfeld, also working with Trimtex, he is actually for 10 plus years, they are already training massive amounts of high volume. So the triathlon nerds out there know this, but all the other listeners don't. So what they do is they train 30-35 hours. They use a lot of lactate measurements to make sure that they're in the right zones. But actually, people think about lactate and think about high intensity training, all this stuff. They use lactate, and then we come to the first point of the day, one of the two learnings for you. They use lactate, I'm pretty sure 99% of the times, to go not too hard, to make sure, even if altitude or if they're tired, because lactate values do differ with fatigue, for example. They make sure with these extra measurements, which of course we don't have, most of us, they make sure, the professionals on the highest level make sure with lactate and all the other measurements and data they have, that they're not going too hard. They do it in a swim, they do it in a bike, they do it in a run every single day. So that's the highest level, and that's the way they're doing it, and apparently it works for them. So that comes to the first point of the day, and that is easy training means easy. So I listened to a really nice podcast recently from How They Train. It's with Julian Spence. It's a really good Australian marathon runner, and he really brought it to the point. Awesome podcast. I'll pop it down in the description. Super nice guys. And he brought it down in marathon running, which is actually just a 2-hour race. So they already recognize this fact that easy training means easy. For example, him and other ones in different podcasts, they talk about this, how easy you have to run. Let's say, for example, you're a marathon runner. One of the girls mentioned it there. That was in the podcast. She said, for example, I think she was like a 2:25 marathon runner. She was out for an easy jog. Like easy, they went, oh, it felt easy, 4-minute 10 pace for them. I mean, for us to think, okay, it's a professional runner, probably for them 4 minutes 10 is easy pace, right? Yeah, think again, because then they went around the park and they saw another Kenyan girl who runs the marathon 15 minutes quicker than that Australian girl, and she was going like 5:30, 6-minute pace, so really slow. So there are several benefits to that. Of course, you don't get injured as much, but you make sure that you are really on the right level for intensity. Easy training means easy. Most of us know this, but I don't think you do it. I think even I fall into the trap sometimes. That's why you need certain measurements. If you're out there just a weekend hero, I think it's good before you go all this data stuff. Heart rate can help, but pace, for example, if you're running hilly, it's not really relevant. It has to feel easy, and easy really means easy. It is so damn boring, slow, easy. You can chat, you can do whatever. Rather go a bit too easy than that little bit too fast. That is super important for the other tip I give you later. That's something I messed up this week, actually a few months now in swimming. I'm gonna come to that. So regarding easy training, if you're doing triathlon, especially Ironman distance, around 80% of your week, sometimes more, even should be that easy to moderate intensity. So zone 1 to zone 2 for the zone guys out there. Actually, I became a big believer into the zone 1 training myself. That's something before people described as the gray zone, the user zone, recovery. Especially when it came to running, I can tell you that is absolutely not true. You don't have to run zone 2 all the time, but that's a different topic. Anyways, what it means is 80% of your training should be easy to moderate, and moderate is still kind of easy. Rather go a little bit too easy for that because you want to be fresh for that big set. So let's say it's Monday, you had a big weekend. Monday is you're supposed to be your easy day. Your coach or training plan says Monday is gonna be easy. You have an easy jog, but you know on Tuesday you have a really hard bike set coming the day after, and you do your easy run on Monday, right? You're pretty fresh. I mean, you're feeling pretty good. You're like, yeah, I know this feels easy, but I'm going a bit quicker, but yeah, let's push a little bit. I feel good, right? But the idea is that you still have the discipline, because it is discipline to go easy on easy runs, that you still have the discipline to go easy way slower than you could, because the idea why the coach put that easy run on that Monday, that you keep it easy, is that you're able then to really be fresh on the Tuesday, to really hit that key session where you want to push those limits with as much muscular and general freshness as possible. So if you're on your easy run, pushing a little bit into the wrong zones, not only can it lead to injury and all that, this is something that ruins the whole training plan. And this is something that disrupts consistency. So even for the runners out there that just run 3-4 times a week, or the marathon runners, really listen to that podcast in the description and keep your easy runs easy. So when you have a 2:15 marathoner that runs the easy runs at 5:30, 6:0 minute per K pace, really slow, why are you running it at 5:0? That's not realistic at all. Look at paces, but especially heart rate, I think is a great one for all the base work. So most of your runnings, except for maybe 1 or 2 key sets a week, should be at this easy to moderate intensity where you can chat, where it's easy, where the breathing is easy, and that should be it. Now I want to come to the second part of today. We had the easy part, now the question is, how do you actually then pace the hard sessions, the quality sets? How do you do those? You probably think, just go hard, hard means hard, and that's not true either. So think again about the Norwegians. They're doing lactate for all the sets, especially the hard ones. And I can give you good examples, something I realized yesterday or the last 2 days, that I probably messed up my hard swim sets for quite a few months. So let's bring you back. So I have my big Frankfurt goal. I want to swim 52 minutes, which is a 1:22 minute on average. I hope it's a non-wetsuit swim. In order to do that, I need to have a certain pace for my threshold set. So for my threshold swim pace, that needs to be a certain level. And my ego and myself, I just thought, I really want to push those numbers down, right? I don't really care, to be honest, where my body was at too much. I thought, hey, I had this key set, for example, in the water. It was like between 2,000 and 2,400 meters of threshold swimming. The limit actually, just a little bit to go back for threshold, so you know what that means. There's an aerobic threshold that's relevant for base training. That's another topic. But most people, when they talk about threshold, is the anaerobic threshold. So that is the spot when your ventilation increases significantly, non-linear, I come to that. Your CO2 production goes massively up and your blood lactate as well. And that sounds all fancy and all, but you can feel that. When you run hard, you can suddenly feel the spot. When you go 10 seconds quicker per kilometer, suddenly, boom, you ramp up. You notice effort level goes way up. The breathing gets initiated. That's what I mean by non-linear in all the curves you can measure. Suddenly, boom, there you see the increase in the graph, and you suddenly notice the effort goes significantly up. So let's go back to swimming. I was swimming my threshold set. So for example, the threshold set that my coach Tim Brazier gave me is something between 2,000 and 2,400 meters of work. The whole swim is around 4 to 5K, but the main set is that. It's hundreds, 200s, short rest. And the idea is, of course, that you swim it at a pace that is your threshold pace. We measured that before, but I, of course, me being me, I have those big goals and I think it's good to push. But in this case, my ego messed me up. It messed probably progress up of around 2 months, I would say. I did still swim the sets, but for 2 months from December to around February, I didn't really get faster at the threshold sets. I come to that now. I've been also working so hard with that. I was dreading it because first I didn't get faster, and the second one is I felt really sick and I was full of like, oh, it felt so horrible afterwards. I was trashed. And only the other day I realized the importance of the general aerobic again. Threshold, let's go back to that. Threshold means actually that you're just at that point, or you stay better even under. There's even some theories, some coaches use it. It's better to stay just a little bit under threshold for swim, bike and run because it has less taxing and has almost the same effect as being at threshold. But what I did, because I wanted to push the swim times, and swimming is of course very complicated with the biomechanical part of it and all, that's a different thing, and pacing in the pool, you don't have a clock like running, but I optimized all that. I looked at pacing, all that, but that's still what I did. For example, the hundreds were still okay that I did, but the 200s then has dropped off significantly, like 4, 5, 6 seconds slower than the hundreds per 100, yeah, something like that. So really dropped off. So what I messed up, by me pushing the limit further than where my body was, I actually went over the lactate threshold and really accumulated a lot of lactate, and breathing was hard. I couldn't maintain it and I dropped off. And I did that a few times, of course, and you suffer through it, and then you're actually gray zoning. That's really bad gray zone. You are too slow for VO2 max, for the real high-end stuff, which would not be 2,400 meters if you're getting into this shorter in the beginning, like 10 times 100. And it's too fast for like a zone 2 stuff. So in the middle of nowhere, it's bad intensity. And I noticed it over 2 months, I didn't get better. So how did I fix it? Today, for example, I remembered, hey, Ironman is an aerobic sport. Even the hard sets, you know, I'm not having a lot of relevance, maybe with VO2 max work, which is a question if I'm gonna keep doing that because it's an aerobic sport. And I want, of course, different intensities, but I want to be having the biggest aerobic engine possible. Because if you have a big aerobic engine, everything gets better. Even like I said, the Olympic champions at the moment, they have the biggest aerobic engine, speed work and all, okay, talent, all that, but they work incredibly hard. And they have the biggest aerobic engine, and that's why they can run the quickest over 10K in the end. Not as easy as that, but it's a big part is that. If I had lactate available right away, I probably would have seen, you're too high, doesn't matter what the split says in a swim, it's not correct. Then I could have saved some time. I will probably do that in the future, but at the moment it's not accessible to me where I train and swim. That's not really possible there, but in the future it's something I will look into. But I have been, you know, that's another one. I have been going too much into the data side before with HRV and all that, and trusted it fully into the data. And it's quite complex to read, and it doesn't always work, and it doesn't work for everybody. So I always, before I use data, want to first check how does it feel? How does it feel to have that effort level? And then I double check with data. Same on the easy part before. First I want to feel, is it easy today? And then I check, oh, my easy pace is way slower than usually and the heart rate is still in the right zone. Okay, body is tired, no problem, I don't care. Put the ego out of it. Same in the high intense one. They're the same. For example, today I did 20 times 100 as the main set in the swim, 15-second rest, and I did them all coming in 118, and I was sure, I was 100% sure, because you can feel it. I didn't need lactate. I was dumb. I didn't need lactate. I felt I'm definitely high aerobic, just on the limit. There is no lactate. Lactate, for example, that's a simple one. I noticed it when I did the 400 track work in the winter when you saw the video. There I got sick in my stomach quite many times. And first I thought, it's maybe the diet before. But I tried many things, it wasn't a diet. Lactate is a different one. You can feel that often when it's suddenly kicking in. On the bike, for example, on the trainer, I can feel it really well when I'm like over the anaerobic threshold. In swimming, I think it's a bit more difficult. I don't get the lactate response, but I immediately feel it with the breathing. I right away feel my breathing kicks up a significant notch. And now, for example, I kept my breathing today with a 20 times 100 steady. It's still challenging, but I felt it's like where it should be. Maybe a little bit below threshold, but for sure not over. And I could all do the 20 times 100 with short rest, all exact same splits. Probably could have done another 10, but it got a little challenging just from another system, from shoulders and biomechanical point in swimming, that's another one. But yeah, enough rambling. What I want to make sure that you do now the last months of training, do them right. Remember, the hard sessions, rather do them 5 to 10% less hard. You will have more effect of that because you will be consistent and you're sure that you're in the right intensity, because most likely you going that few percent harder, even if it's track work, whatever you're working on with speed, if you go that little bit harder, you might be already over the edge where you want to be with training. Even VO2 max training, you can go too high in intensity and you're going full acidic and you're ruining the whole session. I would even say with high intensity, rather go that little bit lower. It depends on the character, what you are, if you can push yourself really well. Some out there have troubles to go really high end, so they have to push, but you probably know which character you are. But make sure that one, keep the easy ones easy, and I really mean damn easy. The cyclists, you see them, the reasons why they are, Tony Martin, for example, he has a threshold of biking of 480 watts, and people ask, oh, what does he do? He must do so much intensity. The reason why he has 480 watts threshold is because his baseline of aerobic is so damn strong that he can just do that. They every day cycle 5-6 hours and chill and talk, and it's easy. You could cycle with the pros most likely. So yeah, it's easy. That's enough rambling for me. Keep it easy and don't do the hard sessions too hard. Be smart. If it says threshold, you probably know from running how threshold feels. If you're a triathlete, just apply that to swimming as well. It's not that hard. You have to maintain it. If the splits are dropping off, you probably went too hard, no matter what the time says. Anyways, that's enough for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this little lesson from me and get insight into my world. In general, it's all going super well with me. Strength training, gym, all 3 sports, it's really going well. We're going up in volume. We are riding around the 27-hour mark at the moment, which is something I haven't done, and with quality in it, so I'm super happy with that. But it's easy to slip with recovery. And I think, to be honest, with injury, when it comes to that, I would even go this far, it's always the athlete's fault. So let's say if you had like a running injury and you go to the track and smash it anyways, it's probably your fault. Anyways, I'm trying to be smart on that front and doing everything I can on that front, keeping recovery, the sleep, and all the habits that I don't like doing, like stretching before bed, and I do a lot of things which I don't enjoy, which is not it, but if I don't do that, I can't train as I want to. So it's part of the game, part of the puzzle, and if I lack the discipline in that, I will get injured and overtrained and not hit my goal of becoming the European champ in Frankfurt, which is actually soon. So I better get back to the second training session, third training session. It's evening, and that's it. I'm out of here. Have a good one, guys. Keep training smart. Ciao, ciao. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You can really help me out if you like and subscribe, push your notification bell, comment below what you want to see next, and I see you in the next video.